Welcome to the Coastal Kitchen. Hi, I'm Karen Mashures, and today is all about comfort food. I have been feeling that brisk wind outside, and I said, today is comfort food day. And it's time for memories. It's a time to think about what you loved as a kid. And that one thing that I loved was meatloaf. And I liked it the way that my mama cooked it, which is the way I like it now. So we're making the way I like it meatloaf, and then some green beans with garlic and almonds. We're going to have sour cream and chive mashed potatoes to go along with that. And then the grand finale, my mama's sour cream apple pie. So let's get started with our meatloaf. The first thing that we're going to do is make the sauce to go on top. And just remember, meatloaf should be the way that you like it. And I make mine with a sweet topping. So I've got 2 cups of ketchup right into the bowl. All right, now a cup of brown sugar goes in next. Okay, now just stir this in to mix it just a little bit. Gonna get that sugar and ketchup together here. And then I'm gonna add a half cup of apple cider vinegar. All right, just put that in. It melts the sugar and makes this into a nice smooth sauce. All right, looks like this is good. We're gonna let this set until we get our meatloaf ready to put in the oven. So I'm just gonna slide it right over here. Now, let's get this out of the way and start on our meatloaf. I have 3 different types of meat that I'm going to put in my meatloaf. I've got some pork sausage, that's gonna go in. I've got some ground sirloin and some ground beef. And I'm just going to dump all that in together. I'm going to make sure that my hands are nice and clean because I'm going to use my hands. All right, got my hands washed. Let's dry them off real fast. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I make my bread that I put in my meatloaf. I'm using just plain whole grain white bread, and it's actually a white wheat, and I have toasted it and let it sit out to get a little bit hard. I'm making my own breadcrumbs. So just gonna break it up into my food processor, and I'm using 6 slices. All right, you notice that I am using the crust and everything here. So just get it all in. And we're gonna give it a nice, strong pulse. I want it almost unrecognizable. Looking good here. Let's get this off. And my breadcrumbs are very, very fine. You can see that they're almost dust. And I'm just going to put that right in. And next I'm going to cut up my onion. And I'm using a medium onion. Nice yellow sweet onion. Okay, just give it another little final go through here. And this is gonna all go in. This is the great thing about a meatloaf. You can get it all together and not have one great big mess. You can get it all in one bowl. And now it's time for me to get my eggs ready. I've got 3 eggs. And the general rule is, if you're making a meatloaf, pound of meat, 1 egg. So we're putting 3 in. And you can see today I found some great brown eggs. Nice and big, fresh. And a little bit of Worcestershire, 2 tablespoons. Gives it a great flavor. We're going to put in some milk, about 1/2 cup. You can move that a little bit more if you need it to keep it from actually sticking against the bowl when you get ready to mold. Then I've got some of my favorite steak seasoning, and I'm going to put that in. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and I've got some fresh cut parsley, and I let it dry out just a little bit, and I'm going to put my parsley in. Okay, now's the fun part. Squishy, squishy, squishy. Just make sure that you get everything mixed into the meats. Mix the meats up really good. All right, now I've got everything mixed up. Looks wonderful, smells great. I'm going to wash my hands because I want to show you something that I'm going to do with this meatloaf. Okay, let's take a look at how I'm going to bake this. I'm going to bake it in a 350-degree oven, and I have taken one of my baking pans and put a rack, a wire rack over the top so it fits nicely. I've got a pan that sometimes you use on the grill. It's got lovely holes in it, and I have a skewer, and I have poked some holes inside so the juices can run out and not get into the meatloaf, but keep it nice and moist. So just poke a few holes so the grease drains out. All right, now it's time to shape my meatloaf. And you can see that the meatloaf is coming away from the bowl nicely, and this is a big one. Okay, so I'm just going to pat it a little bit on the bottom to make it a little bit compact, and then I'm going to place it right in the center, and I'm going to start shaping. And I like my meatloaf to be wide in the center and nice and firm. Now we're going to cook this for about an hour. We're going to check the temperature when an hour is done, and it should be anywhere between 145 and 160. And that's what we're going to be looking for to make sure that the inner temperature is at that level. All right, I'm going to wash my hands. We're going to put some of the glaze over the top and pop it in the oven. 350 again for an hour. All right, let's put some of this over the top. And in it goes. All right, we're going to take a short break, come back, and I'm going to start on my mom's sour cream apple pie.
Most people couldn't fit 200 local farms on their table. Well, that's where we come in. For the very best of everything local, Lowe's Foods.
Welcome back. We're going to make my mama's sour cream apple pie. This is one of my favorite pies of all time, and she made it from the time I was a little girl. I have no idea where she got the recipe, but I'm going to share it with you. I've got 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, and I've got 2 tablespoons of flour. And this is all-purpose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to whisk this together just to get it nice and mixed up. And now I'm going to put in my egg, 1 egg, and get that whisking. Teaspoon of vanilla. You'll see it sort of looks thicky and pasty, but we're going to take care of that in just a second. All right. Nice thick yellow type paste, and we're going to put in a cup of sour cream. Just good old sour cream. Get it all in there too. And I'm going to give that a nice stir. And now comes my applesauce. And I've got 2 cups of chunky applesauce. Make sure it's chunky and not the regular kind. All right, another nice little whisk. Easy as pie. Okay, you can see how this has really turned a nice light creamy color. Beautiful creamy mixture. And what I'm going to do, let's move this out of the way so I've got enough room. I'm going to take my pie shell. You can make your own pastry, and I've got a great pastry recipe on our website. You can go to Facebook and go to the Coastal Kitchen, and if you search for that, you can find our recipes. So I'm using today a pre-made, and I am just going to pour this entire amount into the pie shell. Okay, almost to the top, you can see. This is going to go into a 325 oven for 15 minutes. And while this is baking for the 15 minutes, we're going to get to the topping. So let me pop this in. Just be careful because it is liquidy. All right, let's clean this up just a bit. Let me have a little bit more room because we're going to make the topping for this pie. I've got some sugar, 1/3 of a cup of butter that's been softened, 1/3 of a cup of flour, just right on top. And I'm going to take my fork and I'm going to cut the butter into the flour and the sugar. And this is going to make almost a paste. It's going to be gooey to handle, and we do have to handle it to put it on the top of the pie. So I'm going to cut this in. Okay, I've got this all cut in, and you can tell that it's sort of lumpy and grumpy, but we're going to put in our vanilla flavoring. And of course I use vanilla extract, just a teaspoon, and I'm going to stir this in. Just keep working it. All right, we're set with our topping. I'm going to put this in the sink. And it's time to take out our pie. And it's going to be set just enough to put our topping on. So bring it out nice and carefully. There we go. Now, as I said, this is gooey. And I'm going to take this mixture and I'm very gently making it an even consistency most of the way around, and I'm going to lay the topping right there. And I'm going to go around the pie, and I'm going to keep it away from the edges because this does expand, and you don't have to be real precise. Just have fun with it. Lay it on, and we'll fill up the little gaps towards the center, but you can see it's staying right on top where it's supposed to. Alright, now I'm going to start just filling in some of the little cracks. I've kept it away from my crust, and I'm just looking for little places. It'll all expand and puff up just so nicely, so we don't have to be real precise. Okay, let me rinse my hands off a sec. Get it back in the oven, and it's going to stay there for 1 hour at 325, and then it should be perfect. Okay, I'm going to clean up just a minute. We're going to come back and do our sour cream mashed potatoes and our garlic almond green beans.
ATMC TV and the Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Holden Brothers Farm Market in Shallotte for supplying the fresh produce on this week's show. For over 25 years, the Holden Brothers Farm Market has specialized in the freshest locally grown produce on their 250 acres in Shallotte. Swing by their indoor market located near mile marker 10 on Highway 17 or check them out online at holdenbrothersfarmmarket.com.
Welcome back. I have started on my potatoes. I'm peeling the last one. I wanted you to be able to see this beautiful color. We're using Yukon Gold potatoes today, and all I'm going to do is cut this into what I would consider quarters if it was a medium-sized potato, but this is a rather large one, so I've got it cut into pieces that match the rest of them. And I'm going to pop that right in my water, and I've already started the water to boil, so we've got this going. Let's grab some salt. I want to nicely salt this water, and I'm going to let those boil for about 10 minutes. Want them to be nice and tender. While that's boiling, I'm going to take a look at my meatloaf. Let me grab my meat thermometer, and I'm going to pull this out just a second, and let's test the temperature real fast. Alright, we're getting there. It's not quite done, about 3/4 of the way through. And what I'm going to do is I have reserved some of this sauce later for dipping, but I'm going to use the rest and put another layer of sauce on to finish cooking. Oh, it smells good. Okay, that's good. Let's let that set for another 15 minutes and it should be ready. I'm going to go to my green beans. Let's look at these lovely green beans. I've got 4 cups, and this is a green bean that is fresh green bean, and I've cut the ends off, and I've just done it at a little diagonal. Real easy to do. So I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of butter and get it in my pan. I'm going to turn this on low. Just want that to start to melt. And in the meantime, I'm going to get 2 cloves of garlic. Let's get another one here. And if you don't like the garlic flavor as much as I do, you can omit it, or if you like it, put some more in. Give it a smash. Whoops. Run away. All right, another quick swipe, and we want this butter to really get this garlic going. So let's get it all in the pan. And I'm going to get my little wooden stirrer and get this all around. Okay, this will only take a few minutes to get going. And my potatoes are going. We're going to keep the almonds out until we're ready to finish the beans. This doesn't take long, so we're getting ready to go. Okay, take a look. Lovely, melted and on low. I'm going to take my green beans and I'm just dumping them in. And I'm going to let them cook for about 2 minutes. So let's stir them around, get some of that garlic flavor in there and the butter all over the surface. I'm going to take about 1/4 cup of water. Let me get that ready. And this will act in a way as a steaming agent. Let's just pour that right over the top. Turn this up just a little bit. And we're good to go. How easy was that? All right, this is really rocking, so let's put the lid on. And this goes for 2 minutes. Okay, looks like we're almost ready. Let me grab some salt. I want a little bit of that. And let me grab this. You can tell how beautiful and bright green those beans are. I like my vegetables a little on the crispy side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a pinch of sugar in my beans, and I'm going to put just a little bit of salt. Give it a nice stir, and I'm going to let this cook for about 6 more minutes uncovered because I want that water to start to evaporate. Okay. Let's go over here to my potatoes. And one of the things I need to do first is wash my hands. We're going to get a couple things ready for our potatoes. As I said, sour cream and chive. I found this cool new tool and I thought I'd try it on my chives. Instead of chopping, I've got this funny pair of scissors. And I want you to look. Makes it easy. Alright, let me shake a little bit out of these scissors. They're fun, but I think I prefer a knife. Alright, I've got to turn these green beans off because they're smelling real good. Okay. Oh, it's nice and toasty. Nice and toasty. Alright, at this point, you can leave the green beans here in the pan until you're ready to serve them, or you can do one of two things. And what I like to do is I like to take my almonds, my slivered almonds, sliced almonds, and I like to put them on top right now because we're going to get ready to eat these in a few minutes. And I just let them cook for about a minute so they get nice and toasty. That's what we want. Beautiful. Let's get it on. Let these toast up. And it should be ready in about 1 minute. Alright, so let's get my pads. And this is a heavy trick. Slide these right down into my serving bowl. And I'm going to check and see how this is. The one thing I do like to do is, for me, the way I like it. The basic recipe is there. I like to add some lemon over the top just to give it a little brightness. Just enough. Give it a little turn. And that one's sticking up, so I think I'm going to take a bite. That's the way I like it. All right, to our potatoes. I'm going to turn this off real fast, grab my pads, and see how tender this is. Let's just test it. Okay, that is perfect. Now, I'm going to drain these in my little strainer. And as I've always told you, watch out for the steam. Make sure all that water is out. And this is going to go right back on the stove. And back into my pot. And I'm going to turn this on low, and it's on extra low because I just want the rest of that moisture to get out of there. And I'm going to start mashing. Beautiful golden color. All right, this is mashed. Now, there's a difference between whipped and mashed, and we are mashing. All right, a little bit of salt, just a touch, a little bit of pepper, and that's fresh ground. Okay, let's give it another little mash. And I have warmed some butter and some half and half, and I am going to pour that straight in to my potatoes. And here we go again. Just want to get them all coated. Now it's time for sour cream. Straight in. Let's stir that around. All right, all stirred in. I can get this over here. Let's move this just a little bit out of the way. And I'm going to throw my chives in right away. Nice, hot, steamy. Okay, I think our meatloaf is just about ready. I'm going to put these in a bowl. We're going to have a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back to taste in just a few minutes.
Most people couldn't fit 200 local farms on their table. Well, that's where we come in. For the very best of everything local, Lowe's Foods.
I couldn't wait on you. This is my comfort food, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoy it because it is absolutely fabulous. It's great any time of the year, and honestly, not only is it my favorite meal, it's my husband's too, so I know he can't wait to come home tonight. Have a great time. We'd love to see you again on the Coastal Kitchen. You can find us on Facebook. Just search for the Coastal Kitchen. We have recipes and all sorts of tips. See you next time.